You want to make sure that you have a nice, clean workspace. So maybe you can set up at your kitchen table, dining room table, maybe your countertop. Sometimes we even have to work on the floor. But if you do that, we want to make sure that there's only our sewing things around us. So that means our fabric and our scissors and our pins. We don't want to have extra things because we don't want to accidentally cut something that we're not supposed to. So speaking of cutting, scissor safety. We have the same rules at home as we do in the studio. So we're not just gonna be pointing at somebody with our scissors or cutting the air. If our scissors are not cutting fabric, they're gonna be in a spot that you can see them. So especially if you're working on the floor, make sure that these are up and out of the way because we don't want to accidentally step on anything. So we want to make sure that when we're using our scissors, we keep them kind of on the table or on a flat surface. We don't want to be cutting our stuff up in the air. We want to make sure that we are safe, that our hands are away from the blade, and that we are always mindful of our scissors. You can use smaller scissors if they fit your hand better, but we want to make sure that we have scissors that go easily through our fabric. So our last thing that we need to remind you of is cleanup. Cleanup is important in the sewing studio and it's very important at home because we want to make sure that your projects are safe together. So at the end of the day, make sure your pins are in their pin cushions or in their little containers. Make sure that you have, if you are doing a hand sewing project, we don't want our needles just to be hanging out loose because needles will get lost. Take your needle and just pin it in and out right on the top of your fabric so you know exactly where your needle is for the next time you pick up your embroidery or your hand sewing. And then just make sure that your scissors are up off the floor. Maybe you can have a box that's just for your sewing supplies. That way, every time you go to do your project, you know exactly where all of your pieces are.